Hey guys, so right now it is currently 32 degrees and I'm planning on working in this area today of the garden. I did do quite a bit of garden cleanup yesterday and I trimmed back the hydrangeas that flank this pathway right here. Weeded quite a bit. This pathway leads to the vegetable garden and the second level of the vegetable garden, which, by the way, still needs a massive cleanup. But for this area today, I'm thinking about sheet mulching this whole entire space right here to prevent weeds. And I was also thinking of dividing a bit of this lamb's ear. It already started to come out into the pathway, so what I was thinking was to divide this a bit and continue the lamb's ear as an edging to edge this flower bed right here, and to continue this edging right here of lamb's ear to continue around the hydrangea and up the hill. So originally I did have some wild grapevines as the edging, which this flower bed right here is still edged with wild grapevines. It will last for a few years, but that depends on how thick the grapevine is. So what I had over here wasn't as thick as the ones in that flower bed, so they kind of rotted away. But I like the idea of using this lamb's ear to edge these flower beds over here, so I think we're going to do that today. I also cleaned this area up a bit. I did not cut back the pieweed just yet, just a little structure of winter interest. So I cut back the peonies that were in this flower bed, a little bit of the phlox. Variegated sedum got hit by the frost last night, so I probably should cut that back. Limelight hydrangea, I'm leaving the blooms for a little bit of winter interest, but I thought that we can tuck some alliums in this area right here. This is also a limelight. I replaced the original one that was here with this bush right here, so that's why this one is a lot bigger. I planted this one last year. The one that was originally here died out, so I guess they didn't like the spot, I'm not sure. I amended the soil, planted a new one, so this one is slightly bigger. I could trim it back early spring and make them both the same size so this one can catch up to this one. So that's probably what I will be doing. But for this area right here, I'm thinking about intermingling the alliums. I have ping pong and this gorgeous mix right here, so I'm just going to intersperse these in between these limelight hydrangeas. I also still have quite a bit of perennials that I need to get in the ground. This isn't even half of what I got. I have some up closer to the house, a few other shrubs and hydrangeas that I need to tuck in somewhere as well. But as you can see, more bulbs to put in as well. But I'm thinking about potting up this gorgeous little tree right here. This is a fern spray jade waves fall cypress, and I just fell in love with this little tree. I love the form of it and the color. I looked at it quite a few times at Lowe's where it was at, but it wasn't in my budget. And I went back one of the last times I went, they actually had one left on clearance, so I swooped it up for 50% off. So I'm excited about this little tree, and maybe we can pot that up as well today. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start in this area right here. Hopefully the ground isn't too frozen, and I'm just going to dig a few holes to stick some alliums. Nope, the ground's not frozen at all, so that's good. I left my auger at my mom and dad's house when I was planting some tulips for them, so maybe I can go over there after this and finish off the project that I left off at over there as well. But I'm just going to be digging up. I might have dug up something, which that's not good. Yep, I believe I dug up my peony. Well, I'm just going to tuck that back over here. Hopefully it'll be fine. If not, what can you do? So, I know I cannot put anything here. So, all this is self-seeded coneflower. I'm not really concerned too much about this. I do have a clematis right here. This is vagabond, so I don't want to disturb that. And I have 3 evening rose hibiscus in this area as well, but peonies right there, so I'm gonna tuck in a couple alliums in this area right here, digging up something. What is this? So this is just another piece of garbage. Not exactly sure what this is, but for anyone new to the channel, I do garden on a wooded 1-acre property that someone once used as a dumping ground, so I do dig up quite a few things when I am planting out here. And hopefully this winter I will be able to remove the pile of about 30 something tires also on the property. But it's no surprise that I dug that up in this area. There's also some fencing over in this area that I dig up from time to time as well, because I could not get it all out of the ground. More fencing. So let me see if I can rip this out of the ground. So this is like old garden fencing. Let me see. This is one of the areas of the property that did have a high concentration of trash in the ground. So the people, I'm guessing, that own the property before us, well, I think that the person that owned the property before us used it as a dumping ground, and then the people that renovated the property before we bought it, I think they just threw out whatever that was left on the property. Like when they renovated, there's tile that I dig up, carpet, drywall, all that type of stuff. I'm assuming that they also threw quite a bit out and buried even more. I don't know how deep this goes, but I think it's like under the path, so I'm just gonna have to cut that, and there's still quite a bit right here. Maybe that's why the hydrangea didn't do so good. Just dug up something, but kind of want to get as much of this out of the ground as I can. Let me see. Extremely difficult. This is what I got out of the ground so far. It does go all the way under this pathway I'm standing on right now. So still plenty more in here, and I also got this fork out of the ground as well. Some great detail. Maybe I might keep it to use as a weeding tool in this garden, but hopefully I don't come across any more of this fencing. I probably will. Like I said, it goes under the pathway, and I pretty much will have to destroy this whole pathway to get all of it. And I'm pretty sure I destroyed my balloon flower that was in this area as well, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'm just going to continue to dig the holes for these alliums. I do know I have a fern leaf bleeding heart in this area as well, but that's not where I will be digging at, hopefully. Plastic. I will tuck this back in that root back in the ground somewhere, but I'm going to dig right here. Not sure what this is, but it is metal, I believe. Some more of that fencing right here. This project might take longer than I thought. Oh, this is ridiculous. I might have to just go and get the wire cutters and try to cut out what I come across. But honestly, it's been in there so long, if I just twist it, it just breaks apart. But I do wish that I could get all of this out of the ground. But that would probably take me all day, because I'm just going to keep finding stuff. Because that's the norm around here when planting. Yep, more balloon flower right in that spot. I don't know how I didn't, well, I did come across some of this before when I planted over here, but not when I planted the balloon flower in this area, so honestly, that's a surprise. So I got a bit more of the fencing. Hopefully I don't have to deal with it again in this area, but I know I will, but hopefully not while trying to dig holes for these alliums. The alliums are in, and that took a lot out of me than I expected with digging all of this trash out of the ground. I ended up getting this as well. Not sure what this is. And all of this fencing. Don't know what that is either. But now that that's finished, we can continue with the other part of our project. I'm going to start by going down to the vegetable garden. I have this pot right here. I'm going to fill it up with soil out of the raised beds because this year we will be dismantling everything and creating new raised beds. So I'm just going to empty this one right here since it's the worst of them that have fallen apart. So I'm just going to take the soil out of here, put it in the pot, and then we're going to plant the fall cypress in this pot. So I'm just going to start shoveling the soil into this pot. Which I amend every year, so pretty good soil right here. I'm just going to use this to pot up this cypress until I figure out where I want to place it in the garden, just to put it in a bigger pot. And I have some lemon coral sedum right here. I'm going to have to relocate this somewhere else in the garden as well, but that probably will be done at a later date. I just want to get this potted up so I can work on the pathway next. Break up the leaves a bit. And a bit more dirt. So I think that's a good bit of soil. Make sure it's snug. Maybe one more scoop. And there she is, all potted up. I love this tree so much. So I gotta find somewhere to tuck her in the garden, but let's go ahead and get to our pathway. So we are going to start by digging up some clumps of lamb's ear. Oops. This, well, looky here. Screen and plastic bag. But we do have our lamb's ear. So I'm just going to place it around where I want it. There's some balloon flower. I don't want to end up digging up. I have some gorgeous irises over here that I'm not trying to really disturb, but the lamb's ear has spread to grow over top of the irises in this bed. But honestly, the irises probably should be split anyway. More garbage. So maybe I might even divide these irises in this bed. But let's do the lamb's ear first. Piece of wood. So I've dug up quite a bit of lamb's ear. I'm just going to start to place it. Let me dig a few holes for it. Well, I'm going to start by digging a small trench for where I'm going to place the lamb's ear at. I think that would be easier just to slip it in. cut this piece in half. The lamb's ear is in. I extended the lamb's ear out on both sides of this pathway to curve around both flower beds on either side. So right now the lamb's ear does not look the best. It's the end of the season, so it looks a little ratty. So hopefully it will fill out in the springtime. I do have something that comes around and pretty much destroys the lamb's ear. It's either the deer or the squirrels. So this side right here isn't as full as that side because they like to dig in this area for some reason and destroy the lamb's ear. But I'm happy with how it looks. I will be dividing these irises later. I'm going to go ahead and get the pathway mulched. So I'll get that done at a later date, but let's go ahead and sheet mulch this area. So I'm just going to lay a thick layer of cardboard down for my weed suppressant like I always do when I start my pathways. You can do it wet, you can do it not wet. It really doesn't matter, but just want to make sure it's a nice thick layer. The pathway is complete. Lamb's ear looks good. So I'm happy with how everything turned out today. I'm not going to make it to my mom and dad's house. I'm going to have to do that at a later date because I am running out of time. That digging all that trash out of the ground where I planted the alliums took most of my time, but I will eventually make it back over there to plant their daffodils and finish off their flower bed. But everything looks great, and I thank you guys for joining me on this project, and I hope again to see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.